Reform is a Portland, Oregon-based home furnishings company. We build a variety of home furnishings and products that are all based on sustainable principles.
Thinking in terms of sustainability definitely impacts your design. You have to look at the materials that are available to you first and then design with those in mind. The EPO chair here is a good example of the ideal sustainable product in our minds, because not only is it made from FSC certified Pacific Madrone, but the material also traveled a very short distance to get here. We come out here about once every couple months. It's a beautiful country out here.
You're at Mount Richmond Forest, which is one of 3 forests that make up Hyla Woods. We're a multi-generational family business that's owned these forests for 20 years. And our core goal is to figure out what's needed to make an operation that's both ecologically complex and economically viable. So here's an oak stump, and it was a tree that was selectively logged from a whole grove here of oak.
So this is potentially one of the oak trees that we're making our furniture out of.
Yep, highly likely.
Cut.
Highly likely. It was cut 2 years ago.
I don't think a lot of furniture makers get the chance to actually see not only the forest where their product came from, but a particular tree.
Yeah.
So it's kind of special relationship that we've developed here.
When it goes 2 ways, because for most forest owners, you watch the log roll out the gate on a truck and it's anonymous from there on. So part of the pleasure for us is knowing who's using it and who's going to sit in the chair. For the past 20 years, we've primarily sold wood into anonymous sawmills that ended up with people who didn't know where the wood came from and really didn't care where it came from. And we've been excited about creating connections with people who do care where their wood comes from and demand to know where their wood comes from.
I think being able to come out into the forest like this really just gives you more of a connection, the overall experience of being connected to where your material is coming from, and it gives our designs a lot more life because they're so much more connected to the life of the wood, of the material.
Here's our solar dry kiln, and the reason that we built it is we don't have to truck wood as much around the state. We can mill it and dry it here in the forest. The solar energy will dry the wood compared to a traditional kiln where the wood is trucked a long distance often, is milled, is put in completely wet, and then uses fossil fuel or electrical energy in order to get the water out of the wood. So it ends up being not very economical in terms of energy. The intelligent production of lumber depends on the intelligent consumption of lumber. So we can't do this unless we find ways to persuade consumers that they play an important role.
The good thing about using locally produced materials, it's only traveling about 50 miles from the place it was grown to where it's being turned into a piece of furniture in our shop. So that's really ideal for us. What we have here is the design for a table and bench set that we've developed for a custom client. But whenever we have the opportunity, we like to turn those into retail products as well.
As a designer, I wouldn't feel like sustainability limits me. I feel like it might be a challenge, but that's part of designing. Being faced with challenges and finding solutions for those challenges, it actually makes it more interesting and more complete. In the end, seeing the product and basically stripping it down to the minimum but most functional and aesthetically pleasing is very satisfying.
Designing furniture and trying to build a business model that can be a platform for positive change is a way to lead by example. We really take that seriously, that others might look at what we're doing and see that it is a successful business model based on sustainability that works.